Miosha.
By popular demand, we are here to review The Age of Attraction, or just Age of Attraction. I don't think there's a the. People love
Mm-hmm.
to add a the to things. It's me on people. But yeah, so we are here to talk about Age of Attraction. Please meet us in the comments to let us know your thoughts about this, especially your initial thoughts and if that tracked as the episodes progress. And if you're watching this, please make sure you are subscribed to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. Okay, I want to hear your initial thoughts. Like Miosha and I haven't fully talked about the episode because we're
Mhm.
waiting for this, but what did you think about the concept?
My initial thoughts were this is creepy. All of episode one, and I
Okay.
trust me, I'm not judging. Obviously, we see age gap relationships in real life.
Mhm.
So it's not that uncommon, but just the whole concept, I don't know. I was a bit creeped out by it.
Okay. So that was my initial thought, but
Hmm.
when I started watching it, I went in with an open mind and I thought maybe this would be a good idea. And
Mm.
it's probably because I'm so scorned by, well, you don't get to see the person,
Oh
like from Married at
yeah.
First Sight and Love is Blind. And so I think the fact that everybody could see their person and maybe at least guess what their ages were
Hmm.
gave me some hope. And I was hoping, oh, well, some people who are within the same age group, because there's such a variety, there are people
Hmm.
in the same age group who will be able to meet up too. I thought if people met up within their same age group, they would also follow them. And so, I
Yeah.
was a little optimistic at the beginning of the episode because I thought, oh, you don't have to be with someone who's three times your age. You can be with someone who is your peer. And because everybody is an adult, it didn't seem like it would be a situation where people were being groomed. Like these
Hmm.
are adults who came in looking for what they were looking for and they'll find it in the pool. So it felt more like a real world situation where if you like younger people, maybe you step in the room and that's who you seek out. If you like older people, maybe you step in the room and that's who you seek out.
I think that's the part that made it creepy to me in my mind. Like, one, yes, the same age mates could link up, but are they realistically going to follow them? I mean, at that point, it's just any other dating show.
Mhm.
But then I also was maybe jumping ahead thinking, well, why are you seeking out someone so much older than you? Why are you seeking out someone so much younger than you? Yeah, and I maybe lost hope once I put together that none of these people live in the same place, so they're at this retreat. So then I started thinking, well, how is that going to work? People
Mhm.
living across the country, would you realistically move? I quickly lost hope.
Yeah, I mean my hope didn't last long either. Like so I wrote down those thoughts before their first mixer, before their first
Mm.
speed dating round. And I was like, okay, I want to give this a try. It quickly plummeted and I can say that I'm on the side where I hope this is just a one season show. I don't know that I would want to do multiple seasons or watch multiple seasons of this. Um
Yeah. I would say I'm leaning that direction, but I'm also like, let's see what this finale potential reunion would look like. We don't know. It's the first round, so TBD.
Okay, I feel like I've already deed, but you know what? I'm with you, girl. If you with it, I'm with it. We're a
Well,
team.
well, because in total, is it what, 8 to 12 episodes? So we're 5 episodes in.
I don't know why I thought so. We get two more this week, and then I thought it was one more.
Well, it's only one, so it's 8 total. So it's not
Eight
that
total,
much.
yeah. That's
Okay.
not bad.
So we'll know very soon. But I guess we could give our first initial impressions at a high level instead of going all the way through episode one of the different characters.
Okay.
Teresa.
Okay, yeah. So she said that she had only dated guys her age because it was the right thing to do, and I immediately thought, okay, she looks about early 50s.
I put
And
55 to 60.
also, can I just say, they set us up as the audience. I'm like, we don't get to know the ages either. So now I'm like, spending most of my time trying to figure out their ages. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that's fair to them because for a lot of them, I thought they were, yeah, just I didn't guess all the ages
Mm-hmm.
right, but I just felt like that's not nice. Now, why would you have us out here
Yeah,
free balling and guessing
but
these people's ages?
maybe that was the fun of it because same, I was trying to figure out well how old they are. Once they start listing out how many kids they have, the age of the kids, you
Uh-huh.
could kind of try to do the math. But I put Teresa as energetic. I'm guessing 55 to 60 years old.
Okay, I liked her, but saying that you only date guys your age because it's the right thing to do, I think already signaled to me that maybe she would have an issue with this process if she were to match with someone younger, that it would be almost like an ethical thing for her that
Mm-hmm.
would prevent her from going forward. Again, because that's the first thing that we heard her say.
Okay. John.
John, I didn't write anything about John.
Yeah, he says that he's not looking for anything specific. I put him down as anywhere between 25 and 35. I gave a range of,
Hmm.
because it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But he hits it off immediately with Teresa, and they have a lot in common.
Hmm.
I didn't have a whole lot on him either.
Yeah, the person who I had stuff on immediately was Jorge, because as
Okay.
soon as he came off the plane, so he's a criminal defense attorney. I said he looked about late 40s to mid 50s. That's
Yes,
what I said. But
I
he
agree.
talked about how dating in the real world is trash and superficial, and immediately it gave me he's a part of the Kevin Samuels army,
Mm,
you know? And so I'm like, well, who have you been trying to date if dating is superficial? Also, what does superficial mean to you? Yeah, so
I got the vibe from him that he's been dating younger by
yeah,
how he described dating because
yeah.
even if I put him between 50, 40, late 40s, mid 50s, that
Hmm.
would make him a older Gen X, middle range Gen X. So I don't know if you've been dating people your age, would you describe it in that way?
No. And that's why I was like, okay, that was the first sign of this show might not be what I had hoped or had
Mm,
thought, because you're clearly not dating people in your own age range if that's your descriptor of the dating world right now. And
yeah.
so it made me feel like, oh, he's coming in looking for a specific age range. He's not looking at people in his age
Mm.
range.
Yeah,
So
like
yeah.
age not truly mattering. He
Yeah.
also was on this whole like, oh, opposites attract, or I'm looking for the opposite. And I'm like, okay, that's what y'all always say.
And
If
I
you've
need
been
people to
dating that and it's
yeah.
superficial, it's not working.
Yeah, I think I need people to stop saying that. I mean, I've seen a lot of times where you end up being opposites, but you don't start off that way, like looking for, oh yeah, I want the person who's the opposite of me. So anyway,
And one more mention, and this is me nitpicking, so don't take it too serious, but he says that he's looking for peaceful energy. I'm always on high alert when people describe, specifically men, when they're like, "Oh, I need a woman to be my peace, my peace."
yeah.
Are you peaceful or are you on 100 as you
No,
claim?
because he
You're
wants
not.
the opposite of him. That's why he needs peace, because he can't give it to himself.
But then what if they need peace?
They don't
Nobody.
get it. Too bad. You went the opposite.
Okay. Who else?
Sorry, I wanted to. Oh, yeah. If you have anybody else mentioned, but I also wanted to get your opinions on the hosts of the show.
I know that what's his name? Nick, he has the podcast. I will listen to clips of interviews, but not anything beyond that. So I don't have an initial thought on him. I didn't realize he was with, until this show, his wife was 18 years younger. I thought she would have been older and he looked younger. So I guess that's how they meet in the middle. I don't know. So I didn't have many thoughts because I didn't have exposure beyond their initial introduction.
Yeah, so my comments are mostly on how comfortable they seem hosting.
Mm,
I think she seems more of a like a natural
mm.
to like hosting and get clearly they're giving them some type of lines, right?
Yeah.
And so she seemed to make them flow better to me, and he seemed a little bit timid, and and almost robotic, which was
Shy.
surprising because I haven't seen one of his podcast episodes since maybe, I don't know what season that was. Was AD on his podcast? I don't know, but it's been a while since
I
I
remember Ashley being on there. I'm only going off
actually
clips from
from
Love
this
Is
one.
Blind. Ashley and Tyler.
That's when, yep,
Yeah.
that was what it was. Yeah. So that's when I found out about that podcast. So because he's the name of the podcast, I thought his
Hmm.
presence would be more kind
Bigger.
of
Yeah.
captivating or bigger. Yeah. So
Maybe
he
this
seems
is
kind of
her
cool
thing and he's there more for support.
because he is the name.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is the name,
maybe.
but maybe it's more her
Yeah.
gig, so to speak.
Yeah, but nothing bad. Just he just seemed very timid. And
Mm,
so that would be another reason for me why I don't really need another season of this show.
okay.
But yeah.
What thoughts on Libby?
I said Libby is fresh out of college. I just know.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
put young, unserious, and just wants the experience of being on reality TV.
Interesting. Okay.
Hmm.
She was fun. I said she could be no more than mid-20s, but her everything that whenever she spoke, it gave early 20s.
I said 20 to 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. All
Okay.
right. So can we just get to the couples? Because episode one, there was the whole speed dating thing. I guess everybody got to talk to everybody, and some people naturally
Hmm.
gravitated toward each other. Do we want to talk about some of the people who stuck out, or do we just want to go to the couples who ended up being
I
together?
think we could talk about some of the people who stood out.
Like Tristan.
Yeah, like
Oh,
Tristan.
we
I
showed
also,
five pictures. Okay.
yeah, unserious. He claims he's always been into older women. I was shocked how much Aaron entertained him in that
Hmm.
first episode. I'm like, oh, this is interesting because she said he reminded her of her nephew.
Yeah.
Um, and so I was shocked she was talking to him for as long as she was.
Okay.
But
Let me see if I
he,
could bring this up.
okay, he was coming on heavy or
That's
strong
Tristan.
to her. Yeah, Tristan.
We did not plan to show these people's pictures, but also, I don't remember what a lot of the people outside of the couples look like. So,
Same. And then I also want to quickly mention Andrew because he does end up coupling. Is that his name, Andrew, with Libby?
okay, yes, that
He's
is his
he's
name.
the dad. He says that he typically dates younger because it's a little bit more crazy. I said, Andrew, are you here looking for something serious? Or are you just looking for a fun time? I said that he was probably between 35 and 45 and looking for a good time.
Oh, I almost exactly guessed his age. I said
Mm.
he's 38. That's what
Mm.
I was like, strong 38, and he ended up being 39. But yeah,
Yeah.
uh, okay. Anyone else before we go to
No, I
couple?
think we can keep it moving because we could talk about Vanel and Justin once they actually link up if you want.
Maybe we start with Vanel and Justin.
Yeah,
So
that's a good
Vanel,
transition.
I think so. So Justin is a healthcare director. He is an older white male, and he and Vanel immediately clicked. It seemed like when they did their speed dating, they immediately clicked. He didn't necessarily give me creepy vibes.
Mm-mm.
He
He gave me one of the more serious vibes of a
yeah.
lot of the people, and even his reasoning for typically maybe seeking out a more of an age gap is because he said usually in the real world, people his age or old that are older have kids, they've already been married, already in
Mhm.
relationships, and for a while he still wanted to have children.
Yeah.
So he would ideally go for someone younger for that possibility to still be there.
Yeah.
But he's at a point where he realized, like, okay, that just probably won't happen in terms of the kids thing.
Yeah, and he seemed very committed to the whole kids thing. Like he felt embarrassed to be his
Mhm.
age and not have kids. And I had just never heard that before. So this is
Mhm.
Justin.
Yeah, and he got pretty choked up and emotional about it, which I think is maybe a first that I've seen on a reality TV show, a man being so open about being disappointed of the season of having kids passing them by. I think we usually hear women who express that fear. So,
If anything, in certain communities, I think we hear, or in certain pockets of the internet, we hear people boasting about not having kids at a certain age and thinking that that makes them a catch.
hmm
So yeah, it was very different for me hearing him, but his energy seemed very gentle, which I
hmm
appreciated, and he seemed nice. So he matched with Vanel, who it's just as cute as can be, you know? Just
Yes. And they have a similar energy. She's laid back. Something that she said early on was that she really wasn't looking for someone more than 10 years older. Uh,
well,
Go
she
ahead.
was, but her dad said, please, Vanel.
Well,
He
yeah.
must know his daughter really well. He said, Vanel, don't come back with anybody more than 10 years. And so she was like, oh, 40s would be ideal.
Yeah, so she seems like she was trying to honor that, even in who she was maybe thinking could be an option. She, right out of the gate, says that Justin was high on her list and that she liked his calm energy.
Hmm.
And even in episode one, we could just loop this all in. They did end up having their first date at the white wine tasting, and they share a nice first kiss. And at this point, I felt as though she was pretty, I would say he was her number one at
Yeah,
that point.
yeah.
Um,
But then she also matched with Jorge. Now
yes.
Jorge is the one who we said came in talking about he's the lawyer the attorney who came in talking about how dating is superficial. And so this is
hmm
Vanel and this is Jorge.
And she initially said that she was put off, I believe, by his energy and just maybe how he was navigating the whole speed dating situation. He wasn't someone she would normally go for, but there was something there, I guess, that pushed her to circle back, which I think it was because he probably was showing a lot of interest in her. Because
Hmm.
he said, I think, pretty on that he was like, oh yeah, Vanel could be it.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because I thought Justin was showing a lot of intentionality with her. And so I was so confused by, I'm like, maybe she just likes someone with a bigger personality and that's why she went with.
I
But
think she may have been doing the whole, well, maybe let me go for something different. I think also as she had more one-on-one conversations with Jorge, she
Mhm.
may have saw a more calm, serious side because she said
Mm,
something like, "Oh, I see that you have both sides to you. You're not just this
yeah.
charismatic, outgoing person. Like you know how to be serious and have certain conversations." So I think the more one-on-ones, I think looped her back into him being an option, which I was kind of hoping she would lean more towards Justin because I don't know that I believe the whole opposites attract type of
Yeah,
thing.
like and it like it's opposites attract with certain things. So, oh, I'm a morning person. This person's I don't know. Like
Mhm.
who knows what opposites really work, but it just felt like such a contrast. I'm sure it works for some people though, so I can't really knock it.
Yeah, and
But
I also think the physical as well,
oh,
attraction. Because
okay.
I don't know, there was something there where she kept talking about how she was so physically attracted to Jorge, but then
Mhm.
she said she could envision more of a life with Justin. I'm
Justin.
like, girl, I know looks are important, and I don't think it was that she wasn't attracted to Justin because I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
even think they would have made it to the first kiss if she wasn't. But
Mhm.
I think there was something more physical pulling her to Jorge
Yeah.
than Justin. Then she goes on that forest date with Jorge, and I think that's where she gets locked back in.
She says she wants someone who's dominant but not overpowering. And I just don't I definitely got dominant from Jorge, like just the way that he moves. And so he said he was looking for someone who was more of a gentle person or whatever. And
Mhm,
when she said how she is, he said, that's exactly what I'm looking for. It seemed like he was very concerned with what he was looking for and not necessarily listening to what it was that she wanted.
mhm.
But I wasn't in her shoes, so I don't know what all she heard. He said something like, "Yeah, a man needs to be plugged into his woman." But you didn't listen to anything she just said. So what does that even look like for you?
Mm-mm. And on the one hand, I mean, probably because he is older, he's zeroed in on what he feels would be the best fit for him.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want to knock you focusing on trying to find that, but
Mhm.
if you feel like she really could be an option, then I think he should have been maybe listening with more open ears.
All right. From episode one, I think Libby and Andrew, they had their first date. So they saw
Oh,
each other.
do you want to wrap up all of Jorge, Vanel, and Justin?
I thought that was it for episode one.
Well, episode one, she lets go of Justin.
That was two.
Oh, you thought that was two?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind.
So yeah, so Andrew and Libby, and I'll try to pull up their picture, but he's the guy who is interested in people who are younger, and Libby's the one who we think came straight out of college.
Okay,
What did
gotcha.
you think of their dynamic?
Uh, I got a lot of playful energy, which makes sense because of her age. I got from him, he's looking to have a good time, but also because he has two kids, which he does share with her, I believe, in episode one.
Sure
I
he
think
did.
part of him is looking for something serious, but he kept talking about like, oh, she's someone I would usually date,
Hmm.
young and blonde. I don't know. He vacillates between I need to be responsible in who I bring into my children's lives, and I'm looking for chaos.
Hmm. And
So,
I feel like he's more so looking for chaos. He's a certain age. He's a bar owner. He's looking for a specific age range of a woman. And so he
mhm.
just gave me fun. I wondered about Andrew. I wondered if he's one of those people who wants someone who's like malleable so that he can turn them into what he does. Like, you know how there are some people out there who would be like, oh, I like a woman who's natural, but then they're only hitting on women who, have their
Oh yeah,
ascension, have their, who are like dolled up, but then you claim that that's not what you're looking for, but that's who you're steady trying to talk to, and then try to turn them into someone who
yeah.
fits what you thought in your head you wanted. That was a little bit of the vibe that I was getting from Andrew because he kept going from, oh, something playful, something fun to, well, yeah, I have these two daughters and I need to,
Mm.
so it was too early to judge, but I also was confused. Like, okay, what does he really want?
Sounds like he wants the best of both worlds,
Okay,
which
can
I
want
don't
that.
know. I don't know what that realistically looks like. He may be looking for a unicorn of a situation, especially given the ages of his daughters.
Daughters. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really all that I have for episode one, too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, in episode two, we meet a new couple, and that's Derek and Pfeiffer.
Okay. Yes.
So Derek, you know what Derek reminds me of? And I'll pull up his picture. He
Hmm.
looks like a soap opera star.
He does. He has a very unique look.
Yeah.
For him, I did I write down what my guess on his age was? Ooh, did I write that down? Let me see. No, I don't think I guessed his age.
I
Dang.
thought he was late 40s.
Late 40s. Okay.
Yeah, mid
I
to late
put
40s.
late 30s to 40s, I think. I can't
Okay.
put it in my notes, but yeah. For them, I don't have too many notes from this episode other than they say that they both enjoy traveling and
Hmm.
he has a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old son, and he has not shared this with her at this point.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Next. No, but I mean, she did talk to like one of the older women, Vanessa, and she was talking about her reservations about the other shoe dropping.
mhm.
So yeah, I don't have much on them. I think he asked her a lot of questions about herself, and I was wondering if he was doing that because there were things about himself he wasn't ready to share. Then we found out about his two boys. Yeah, I just noticed that he always had a question for her, and sometimes she would answer and he wouldn't answer.
Mhm.
Like if I say, oh, what's your favorite place to travel to? And now you're telling me where you like to travel. And then I don't offer my favorite place to travel.
Mhm.
There were at least two instances of that I sensed. So
What did you guess her age was?
I thought she was mid 20s.
Same. I
Yeah.
said she could be between 25 and 30,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
29.
I'll say 25 to 28
Yeah.
would have been my guess. Yeah. Okay. All
Right.
right. And then we go back to the Vanel and George and Justin
Mm-hmm.
triangle. And so in this, we see that Justin is like he's massaging her and he's trying to get more of an idea of where she stands.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very intentional. I think he says, like, I'm not necessarily trying to keep you from your other connections, but I just want you to know that you're the one who I'm connecting with here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, However, she started to feel bad because she noticed that every time she's with Justin, she just can't get Jorge off her mind.
Yes. And that's where I think it's more of a physical thing
Hmm.
than emotional or mental. I don't know. It's just they felt like a better fit,
Her and
Vanilla and
Justin.
Justin. Or Justin, yeah. They
Yeah.
felt like a better fit. And I also think too, Jorge in their date was more vocal about you're my one, you're my number one. I'm only still here to seek this out with you. Where I think Justin was more reserved. He wasn't as pushy or forthcoming. He was just trying to let her be as comfortable as possible because he knew she was dating multiple people and maybe didn't want to influence her
Yeah.
one way or the other. Jorge was putting that pressure
He was
inadvertently.
like, forget that. This is what I want. And so she tells him that she's gotten rid of her other connection. And of course he's happy about that. He said, oh, you gonna be my ride or die? She's like, yeah, I just feel so seen and so safe. And she's saying she slipped up and said she loved him. That was I was like, okay, wait, she really had it bad for this man.
I think it was just physical
I
because
think
and not that it was nothing beyond that, but I don't know, the way she talked about how she could just envision her life with Justin, we didn't see her have those types of reactions about Jorge to
it seemed
me.
like puppy love to me. And this is where I
Yes,
started to wonder, okay, how young is she? Because she just seems very infatuated. And I don't even know that it was just physical. I think she really emotionally
was
w-
into
was
him.
was into him
Mm.
based on what I don't know. And that's why I'm like concerned for her at this
Yeah, you said it right. Based on what we don't know, but what we knew was how much she kept complimenting the physical at this point. That's what we knew, but we can't say that it wasn't more than that.
hmm So
Yeah.
with this show, if you are serious about somebody, you can't ask them their age while you're in the dating process. If you're serious about them and you want to find out their age, you have to take them to the promise room. And in that room, you share your intentions with them. And if they're interested in continuing the process with you, they put on a promise ring and then you guys tell each other your ages. So
Hmm.
Vanel and
So they
Jorge.
go to the promise room, and she
Mhm.
says, "It's just a feeling." I'm like, "Girl, you going?"
I I in the beginning I thought maybe she would was at least 30, but one of the things that did it for me was on her way to the promise room, just her concern about, oh, my family's gonna freak out, oh, my family's gonna this, my family's
Hmm.
gonna that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I think that's stuff that you always worry about that stuff, or
Hmm.
most of the time people worry about that stuff. But I think at a certain age, you're ready for marriage. Your family's like, okay, we could see it for her at this age, as opposed to, oh, she's really young and needs to consider her options. And that was the vibe I was getting from her about her family.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when she was going to the promise room and she said a lot of things about her family and how they might react and how they would freak out, I thought, yeah, she has to still be in her 20s.
And one thing I want to mention before we go deeper into the promise room conversation they had, he had already shared that he did not have any kids. And she shared, I think, with him and Justin that she would be open to having kids if her partner was, but will be okay if they weren't. So that's where
So, yeah, I must have missed that conversation with Jorge because I didn't have them having any conversations about kids until they get into the promise room, which is when she says to him, so like, are you interested in having kids or do you have kids? And then I specifically noted that he didn't answer if he had kids already, but he went straight into the I don't mind having kids, but it would have to be in a marriage because I'm not interested in,
Hmm.
having kids outside of a marriage, and that's not something that I do. But yeah, I didn't see his answer about having kids or not.
Yeah. Until he confirms in that he doesn't have kids.
Yeah.
So he says, so in this conversation, she's also nervous because she brings up that she's on a celibacy journey. She has been for 2 years. And he says, oh, you don't have to be nervous about it. It's not something that I've practiced, but I respect it and it doesn't scare me.
That's now that I think about it, that's such a non-committal answer.
Yeah. He basically let her know that's not something I do, but obviously I'm not going to force myself physically on you. But I think she walked away from it because it does sound as though that they're on the same page about it.
Hmm. Yeah. Of course, my like what is it? Red flags were going up
Hmm.
for me after this conversation because again, he had found a way to skirt around the
He's
issue,
evasive.
and with her, because I for her, I want her to get definite answers about things before moving forward. I think she's so enamored with the whole situation that she's not asking follow up questions. Like, I was surprised that this was the first conversation they had about kids. Like, why would you not have asked that before if you're like slipping up and saying you love this man? You don't even know, you haven't
Mhm.
even tried to find, because he can clearly lie if he wants to, but you haven't even tried to find out. So
And I
yeah.
would have asked, like, okay, well, why do you think this isn't something you've practiced before? Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
a huge conversation
Where
outside
does
of the
he stand religiously? Because like he
yeah.
said he was a PK, but where do you stand religiously? I think, if you want to do the celibacy thing, it's probably in your best interest to find someone who also sees value in it.
Oh yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
with anything, really,
Even
but
more so because, and she specifically says, not just celibate for a period of time until we're officially dating. And then the real world, she says until marriage, which could be years. So,
one thing I would not have said if I were her, she says to him, I've wavered on this in the past and I don't intend to in the future. I
mm,
would have left that out. I don't think someone who does not practice this needs to hear that
you
there's an
folded
opportunity.
before.
Yeah, and I hate to think of people in that negative way, but you don't know this man. People are
That,
together
that
for
could
years and don't know each other for real. So
that could maybe send a signal to him like, oh, if I put enough pressure or I'm patient enough or the right scenario comes up, there's an opportunity on the table. But
yeah, so
nonetheless,
that out.
yeah, I can see that. Either way, they eventually share their ages. She's 27 and he's 60. 60.
That is 33 whopping years. Now, for me, I realized during this show that I have a comfort level with the age gaps. like
Mhm.
like a certain like beyond a certain point, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes me uncomfortable. But I was constantly trying to challenge my own discomfort. Like, why does that make you uncomfortable if the two people are adults? Like, so this show did do that for me. Like, where I wanted to feel queasy, I was like, oh,
Yeah, I mean, for a
no.
host of different reasons that we don't have to go into, but they're both shook. He thought, I think she was at least maybe in her early 30s,
Yes.
and I think she thought he was in his 40s
Hmm.
because she kept saying, "Oh, the whole 10-year thing." So,
Yeah.
yeah. Either way.
But
Uh,
then they progressed. She gasped at his age, like she couldn't even recover from it. Like that's how bad it was.
child.
So anyway, So that ends it for them. And then we have
Let's do
Teresa
Teresa and John because I
and
think
John.
we missed them going to the promise room on episode one. Like they went and sat in, but we
Okay.
didn't talk about what happened once they got there. So Teresa and John, they end up progressing to the promise room. I guess we could just reveal their ages because I don't have too much to say about them and that interaction. She
Yeah.
shares that she's 54 and
Hmm.
he's 27. So that's a 27-year age gap. She's shook. Um, I think Samara and I both agree she looked a little disappointed that the gap was as much as it is.
Hmm.
He seems pretty calm to me. Um, and she shares that she has a son older than him. She says her son is 29, I
29.
believe,
And her
and that
daughter's
she's
25, I think.
and she has a even younger one that but still in their 20s. So she
Yeah.
has three kids all in their 20s. She's worried about the outside perception, but she claims that she's excited to continue.
She's been worried about the outside perception since that she got off the plane, and I understand it because it's not just like she's in her 50s having fun. She has kids to be concerned about, and kids that are around the age of her suitor. So I thought that was valid.
Extremely.
And if I were her, oh gosh, it's so hard because again, it reveals the double standard. Honestly, if I were, what's his name again, Jorge? If I were her, Jorge,
Same. I feel it both ways. That's too
I would
much.
have left too. Yeah, and as Teresa, I probably would have left. Now, the thing is, the person she's paired with, John, does seem very mature for
He
his age.
does, but I also wrote we're not getting much from John. So I don't know what that means. Like I don't have anything negative to say. He
Yeah.
does appear to be very mature and she's very pleased with how he's conducted himself in this process, but I also feel like we're not getting a whole lot in their scenes. At least
Mhm.
as of episode 2.
No,
So,
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
okay. Now, you want to move on to the next pairing?
Yes. So then we come back to Andrew and Libby.
Okay.
I don't know. So they also go into the promise room, and that's really all that I have on them. It's more of the same stuff. It's more of him saying, "Oh, you're exactly my type. You're funny." He says that he wants to see a softer, more serious side to her.
Yes, a
And
lot of jokey joking
yeah.
going on.
Yeah, and so I don't know, for him, like you're interested in someone who just might not be at the stage of life that you're at. So you trying to be like, "Oh, I want to pull out some more seriousness." And like, she is however old she is.
Right. And I don't think her energy is wrong for her age, which is revealed in this episode. He does share in this episode that he has a 14 and 12-year-old
She was
daughter.
shook.
She's extremely shook, as she should be, because she's not that much older than the
14-year-old.
14-year-old. And then he also talks about how he's well established in Baltimore. Asks her, do you see yourself moving, doing long distance or moving? And she claims for the right person, she's open to it.
Yeah.
They get to
So
the promise room and he's 39 and she's 22. So 16 years.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh okay. Next.
Hmm.
I mean, we have some people who like start and stop. I think it's fair to
Hmm.
mention there's a guy named Chris and he matches up with a woman named Vanessa. They have like a steamy moment and then they decide to part ways. That's relevant because later on they each match with someone else and end up
Hmm.
continuing the process. So that's all I'll say about that. But then we can move into episodes 3 and 4.
Yeah, I will say that hot tub scene with Vanessa and Chris, I was wondering what made her so forward with him. Because I don't know that we saw much of their speed date. So for me, it was kind of random. I'm like, where'd this come from? She goes and is like, oh, I need my man for a few minutes. Then they duck off and do whatever. But she immediately regrets it the next morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in episode 3, not too much happens. I think, this is when Chris pairs up with or starts to pair up with his new person whose name is Leah. And
Mm-hmm.
then Vanessa pairs up with her person who's Logan. So which one of those do you want to talk about first so I can pull up their picture real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about Chris and Leah. So Chris, I think I initially put him between maybe 27 and 35. And
Okay.
then Leah, I put between 35 and maybe like at most 45. I couldn't tell.
Okay.
But I was like, oh, she could be in her late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, I
But
could see
either
her.
way, so Leah and Chris, they say that they have been eyeing each other, but they hadn't had the chance to really connect up until this point. I don't know if Leah had another connection, but we know for sure that Chris was linking up with Vanessa. I say that they seem to have a lot of physical chemistry. I don't know that there's much more there. But then she says, like, oh, he has all the qualities that she's looking for in a husband. And I'm like, did we not see those scenes? I'm just not seeing
I'm
what.
not either. And a part of me is like, maybe she was just happy to connect with a hot guy
Mm, yeah.
because there was nothing that suggested he would be husband. And so that for me was a little confusing that she was adamant about wanting a husband, but Chris was the person who she felt she could have that with.
And with her, I got high energy, very charismatic. She's so,
Fun.
yeah, like very fun. And with him, I got a little bit of unseriousness. Maybe because of maybe I was still holding on to what I saw with Vanessa. I don't know, but I just got unserious from him. So I was wondering what happened between them where she saw that he was serious.
Nothing. I think she's a fun person. I think she's looking for fun. And if that were the end of it, great. You found it. But beyond that, I can't comprehend.
No, but
Uh
they progressed to the promise room.
they progress, they go to the promise room. We find out that he is 46 and
No,
she
26.
I'm sorry, 26. No,
Not you being shady.
no, no. He's 26 and she's 41.
Yeah, I 41, I know she was like, "Oh, y'all are gonna be shocked." I put her between late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, she looks great, but I think she's in
She
that
looked,
range.
yeah, in that
We're
range. And then
also
for,
used to seeing people like Gabrielle Union, Regina Hall, so like
yeah,
we know
right.
what you look
Exactly.
great, but you're still in your age range.
Right. And that's perfectly fine. And he's 26. And then the more I kept looking at him, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're 26 for real.
Hmm. Okay.
And then
Um,
we have Vanessa and Logan. So these are all the new couples. Van
so this pairing, I also felt maybe came out of nowhere,
rushed. Yeah.
rushed. And then at this point, I was thinking, okay, Vanessa, some of the things she was saying, it sounds as though she's like, I'm leaving with something.
Hmm.
And so he says, this is Logan, that his typical range to date is between 30 and 34. So then I say, okay, well, he must be between 25 and 35, if that's his typical range. He says that he's dated older before, but never serious. She shares with him that she's been engaged 4 times. I said, well, my goodness, we barely out here able to get one ring. You out here collecting them.
I think the second she said that, he turned his ears off. I think that was a huge turn off for him. He was like, dang, girl, you out here collecting rings like J-Lo.
Right. And so also in that interaction, she gets offended where he says something like, she asked him, are there any concerns? He's like, yeah, the obvious age gap. And
Yeah.
she was really offended by that. And for her, it was a red flag. I wrote that I think her and Teresa are highly sensitive to and just not comfortable with them being the older one in the relationship.
I think an insecurity for her specifically because
Mhm.
it becomes the biggest chip on her shoulder for the entire. And it's like I don't think you can expect that someone is concerned about this. Like just because you're okay with it, that doesn't mean everybody else is. Which maybe she thought that because she was coming to this experiment and they were coming to this experiment that no, you should be okay with it. Like you should have known what it was. He also found out that she has a child. during this
Mhm.
conversation. I don't think that
Yes.
helped after the 4 engagements and the child. I think he was like taken
And
aback.
her child is technically an adult,
Mhm.
um, but even still, he also said that typically he was concerned because when people are older, naturally, not of their fault, they come with extra experiences, and that should be factored in. So with the whole concept of this show, I don't know if the purpose is age gap. I think it's just to put everyone together to see who connects regardless of age, and then they're choosing to show the age gap relationship. So, yeah.
Yeah, there were, I think they showed us at least 4 other couples who got together who were within each other's age range. So they got to the promise room and found out,
Mhm.
oh, I'm 23, I'm 26, I'm
Mhm.
44, okay, I'm 45. Yeah, like they were able to find out their ages. And I don't know, I would have loved to see those couples too.
They should have intermixed some of those, I think. At
Yeah,
least one or two, just for a point of comparison. But either way,
yeah.
she's feeling away. Nonetheless, he ends up apologizing at a certain point, saying he put his foot in his mouth, which I don't really think so,
I
but
don't think he did. I think he was being honest.
I
And
think
he did
so.
it gently too. Like if it's because I know we just came off of Love is Blind and somebody said, who was being honest? No, you were being rude and you were
Mhm.
insecure. Anyway, but he was very gentle with it. I think she's just not comfortable. And so it's always going to ruffle her feathers.
Yep. They make it to the promise room and he shares he's 29 and she's 49,
Yeah.
which I was like, yeah, that makes sense based off of
I
what
think
he said.
she looks like a good 49.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She looks good for her age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so he said something that made me think you should just walk off this show right now. He said, I want to prove that I can commit in the long haul. Who are you proving that to? Are you proving it to yourself? Are you proving it to people at home? Are you trying to prove it to her? Like,
Because
we're
he's
not here for
never
you.
had a serious relationship before this,
And this is
which
not the
why,
time to have one.
yeah, why come on international television to start?
Yeah. Okay. So then the people who have the age differences, they go off onto a retreat where now they're supposed to move in with each other
Mm-hmm.
and see how things go for like a little over a week. And then they're going to have this commitment ceremony. I don't like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand obviously why they have to move in with each other for a married at first sight. I even understand why they would move in with each other for Love is Blind because the goal is for them to get married at the end of it. But with this, there's no marriage or anything. So I don't
Engagement.
really understand why people who just met each other need to become housemates just to decide if they want to continue to date. Like,
I think the only way the show works is to have them in the same place because keep in mind these people live in different cities. And so
but not the same. They don't have to be okay. For this show, they have them in a 1 bedroom apartment.
it's crazy.
I think that's insane. At least a 2 bedroom, or maybe they could be next door neighbor. Get some duplexes. You stay in one, I stay in the other. Something. I just don't think it's necessary for this product. Like I don't.
Or how do they do it on Love Island where they have the girls' quarters, the guys' quarters?
Oh, okay. I haven't seen Love Island.
Like where I haven't really watched it either, but they could do like an Airbnb for the men, an Airbnb for the women, and then they
Hmm.
go on their dates and do whatever,
Yeah.
and then they decide. You're right. This is extremely reckless to meet someone and within a few days, you're
Yeah.
already living with them in a 1 bedroom apartment, expected to sleep next to them.
And then you're just supposed to date afterwards. Like, so you know, maybe it's a me thing because I don't really like sharing space with people like that. So get yourself. You would have been on the couch. I don't want to share a bathroom with you. Like, give me a 2 bed, 2 bath. So you can have your side and I can have my side, and the living room is mutual quarters. If we decide to go in each other's rooms, great. Like, I didn't think it was necessary. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments.
Yeah. So at the end of episode 3, they're at a mixer by the water where the hosts are introducing basically what they're going to experience for the next 2 weeks. Um, I noticed that Pfeiffer in this scene calls out the connection between Leah and Chris,
Yeah.
and she's wondering if it's more than physical. There's been a lot more hugging and kissing than talking from her point of view. I said, well, you mighty vocal on these two. What else do you have to say?
And I'm not a person who likes to be vocal on people's relation, especially when we're all in the same boat. You just met your person, I just met my person. So I was like, okay, it was a very she was really asserting herself with that
Yes.
opinion. And even Libby and her questioning of Vanessa and Logan. See, at least she toned hers down a little bit. So with Vanessa and Logan, she said, "Well, the last time I saw them, they were broken up. So I guess they got back together." And she says she wishes them the best. But in this type of situation, you just never know what will happen in your relationship. So just, I think, tread lightly.
And it's usually the ones who are the most vocal where they also end up going up in flames as well. But
Yeah.
they're feeling confident in what they have right now. In this mixer, also, there is this kind of triangle, so to speak, that happened between Vanessa, Chris, and Leah. And so at this point, Vanessa has already shared with Logan that she shared a kiss with Chris.
Yeah.
And
We just showed
Van-
Vanessa and Logan again.
right.
Perfect.
And so Vanessa is also standing around in this conversation, and she has not heard this yet. Of
Leah.
course, Chris speaks up and says, "Oh yeah, well, it was a little peck. Red flag. No, it wasn't.
That's
Netflix is
Chris.
super messy. They run it back, and it was a whole makeout session in the hot tub." And naturally, Leah feels away because she's just finding this out in front of everyone. He says that it was a mistake, but for me, that's a red flag that you would not proactively bring up just how far you went with your other connection, knowing she would have to be around her
Yeah. It was a
anyways.
point of immaturity, I think. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like, oh, he's a terrible person, but it's just, okay, don't have her out here finding out new information
Oh.
from
And
somebody.
then also in this mixer, Jorge
Hmm.
shares with the men.
No, wait.
Oh,
In this mixer, the women specifically
oh
ask
yeah.
Vanel, hey, does Jorge have any kids? And she says, of course, no, he doesn't have any kids, but he's open to having some. And then they take us over to Jorge and the guys. Go ahead.
Yes. And with the men, he shares that he hasn't told Vanel about his not one, but two whole adult children. Samara and I were thinking there was something about him. We couldn't quite place our finger on it, but the lack of information this big lets us know we were reading correctly from the beginning. So,
Yeah. Something wasn't right. Something in the milk wasn't clean.
nope.
And so yeah, so we find out about the kids and then later we get a scene with Vanel and Jorge.
Hmm.
And I don't like how he even handled this conversation. So he springs on her. Well, like for me, I have two kids and they're your age and my daughter's really protective. So what do you think about that? What does that bother you? I see your face. Give her a second. You first of all, you went from not disclosing when she explicitly asked if you had kids. You did not disclose that information. So we went from that to now you're springing this information on her and she doesn't even have a beat to digest it. You want to know, what do you think? I see your face. Does that bother you? Relax.
And it's all intentional. He's a defense attorney.
He's
He's
60 and a defense attorney. No, that's experience and the wrong career.
I mean, there's no shade against the attorneys out there. We love y'all.
y'all
Y'all,
are y'all are
somebody,
a strategic lot.
right? Somebody got to do it. But he's treating her as though she's on the stand.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
And she brings this up, which I was proud of her for doing. Like, oh, well, I asked you in the promise room, what was going on and you didn't disclose it. And he said, I decided that when you asked, it wasn't the time for that. Like we already had the age difference that was kind of big and that was going to be a shock. So I didn't want to add this and let that be a shock. And it felt to me like, I don't know if you've heard of the phrase like boiling a frog, where you can't
Mm-hmm.
just put a frog in hot water because it'll jump out. But if you put
Mm-hmm.
it in regular water and then you like slowly turn the heat up, it might not notice the difference until it's too late. And that was what his approach felt like to me with her.
The fact that he even said that, oh, I didn't think it would be a big deal or it wasn't the right time. If at 60 you can't identify that you having children walking this earth and her not knowing, regardless of if they are her age or not, I also think it was strategic too, because I think he knew
Yeah.
if she knew that he had kids her age, that he would also probably know that he was lying about wanting to have more kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's less
Mm-hmm.
believable. At
It is.
60, if you've never had a child, okay, maybe you would be open to at least trying for one. If you already have two adult children in their late 20s, you're not having any more kids. So it was a strategic lie, I think.
Yeah, he said, me having children doesn't have anything to do with anything. What?
Especially when he goes on to say, my son will be fine with it, but my daughter likely won't be. You don't think that she should know that beforehand?
Because
She could
it
be
sounds like that
walking,
daughter's gonna throw down.
she's walking into a hostile environment.
Oh man. Okay. So yeah,
She
I think
moves past it, which I think is crazy. She
like
should have left then.
she immediately moves past it. And I feel like when he was saying, well, I need somebody who's calm, and I think he wants someone who's like docile so
Hmm.
that he can try to get over on her.
Oh yeah,
And he
so he
put
can
his
do what
mind,
he wants to do. He
yeah.
doesn't
And
want
at
anyone
first,
to push back.
when she was pushing back, I'm like, okay, good. Like she's not just about to roll over. But then,
Hmm.
girl, that was yeah. It lasted very, very briefly. Uh, anyway, so I think they go to the. She asked again about the kids thing, and he said, "Yeah, if I'm in a relationship, if I'm married." And something about that read to me, okay, he would be the one who has to propose. Is he really gonna take the step to be in a marriage and then to have kids? Which
Does
I
he
doubt
even
it.
want to be married again? I'd
Yeah.
be shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And she says to him, you should have brought this up when I brought up the celibacy, because she felt like she was very vulnerable with him and that was his opportunity, which we all agree.
And by her not knowing the kid situation, if I were to do the math, he said he's 60, he got married at 26. I would have wanted to know, are those children from your marriage? Do they
Yes.
have the same mom, different relationship? She's not able to find out any follow up because he just wants to move right past it.
And I don't think she wanted to dig either.
Mm.
I
Well,
don't think she wanted to dig because she, well, at the mixer, she told the girls, I don't know if he's been married before. What are
I
we
thought
doing
maybe it
here?
was a confessional scene where he said he had been married in his
Yeah, yeah,
20s.
yeah. Because she didn't
Yeah,
know. At the mixer,
he
she
didn't
told the
even know.
girls, I don't know if he's been married before. Like, why are you
Mm.
here, Vanel?
But then he follows up and says, he's had a lot. He hasn't had, even though he's so much older than her, he hasn't had a lot of relationships,
Mm-hmm.
just a few long-term ones. Give me more details on that. We need the Carfax.
We do. We know nothing about Jorge still after 5 episodes. All right. So then we see them at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And, he in his confessional talks about how, yeah, well, her celibacy is going to be a point of conversation for us. He said he has no desire. These are his words, no desire to participate in celibacy, although he respects her decision. Well, okay, so I guess for him, I can respect your decision and not want to participate in it. I think if you know that you feel this way, let these people's daughter go on her way. Let her go. And so they talk about how the night before, he told her to stay on her side of the bed. If she's into her whole celibacy journey, and she came over because she wanted to cuddle, and it seems like she's trying to test the limit, even though she has that boundary.
Yes. Because he kept saying, like, she wants all the cuddles and kisses, but I think for him, at least the way he's portraying it is let's have certain boundaries if that is offline, off the table.
I don't think I
Um,
got that.
I know, well, in his mind, he's always going to be ready to go all the way. But then when she's coming onto him, or that's how he's perceiving it, I guess he wants to know exactly what it is or isn't going to lead to. But my thing is, she already told you. So if you truly respect it, then why does this need to continue to be a conversation?
Yeah, walk
Because
away.
you're hoping to wear her down. That's why.
He said anything merits a conversation. What does she hope to accomplish with it? Why is she doing it? What does it mean to her? All this stuff. And they sit down and have a conversation. He says, everything about you was so great. And I was wondering, what's the catch? And then you said the whole celibate thing. That's what I said, well, you celibate, I buy a bit, but we just got to talk about I was like, yeah, you 60. You celibate, I buy a bit. I've never heard anybody say that. That's
And maybe,
giving unk.
and I don't know, the fact that, and I get that he can feel how he wants to feel, but if at 60 you're going back and forth all this, it's like you've had a lot of life experience. If by 60 you can't maybe truly see the value and truly respect something like that, I don't know. It's come on, bro, you 60. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And if you respect it but you can't participate, be man enough to leave her alone. And this isn't to say that it's all on him, but we'll get to that in the next
yeah, yeah,
episode.
we'll get to that.
So
Yeah.
it stops there for them. All right. And then so episode 4, I think the other people who I have the most on would probably be
Mhm.
Vanessa and John.
Okay.
I mean, no, John and Teresa. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. John and Teresa, and then Vanessa and Logan.
I find Netflix to be very messy.
Extremely. More, this is more messy than even like Married at First Sight. I said, y'all have lost y'all's mind.
So they know that Teresa is concerned about her kids and what they might say about this whole age gap situation. Well, in episode 4, John and Teresa are clearly intimate with one another. And Netflix takes it upon themselves to have voiceovers of that time playing.
I just want to know, did they put a boom mic in the room? Like,
I think the whole house is wired.
I, that is insanity. I don't know. It just felt too invasive.
It's very invasive. Consider, like, y'all don't care about these. Stop going on reality. I mean, we like reality shows, but stop going, y'all. Don't do it. We'll find other ways to be entertained because we're not about to. The way Tyra blamed us for watching America's Next Top Model, y'all not about to say, well, y'all wanted it. We're telling you now, we don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, we usually get the confessional scenes of them being awkwardly giddy, about whatever they
Yes.
choose to share. But I don't know. They were doing a bit much for me. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
So anyway,
yeah.
after that night, they went to the gym, and I think that was their first time out in the close to the real world.
Hmm.
And she seemed very aware, like hyper aware of everybody paying attention to them. Like, how people might not even be paying any attention to you, but you're self-conscious about something. And so you're like, oh, I know they're looking at this pimple on my forehead. Like, that's
Hmm.
how Teresa was after the gym with John.
Yeah, she's not comfortable with her being the older woman and him being the younger man because I doubt those people in the gym who probably have don't even want to be there were paying attention to an age gap that they have.
And what were they doing? Like, because you won't even know. Are we friends? Are we coworkers? You don't know what the relationship between them is if
Mm-mm.
you're just a bystander.
To
So,
to be honest, when I've seen those types of relationships, unless I see them holding hands, I don't
I don't
know
assume.
that they're together. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that could be niece, nephew, cousin, friend, coworker.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah. Anyway, so I think her inability to be at ease with their situation is stopping her from fully committing to it. And
Hmm.
that's okay, Teresa. Nobody's forcing you to be here. Like, you don't have to do
Yeah.
this if you're
And if you
uncomfortable.
think your kids are going to feel away even just about the age gap, girl, wait until they watch these scenes back.
I pray they don't. Actually, oh God, somebody got to watch it first and warn them.
Skip episode 4.
Skip episode 4, please, please.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
anyway, so I noted at this point that we've never heard from John if he wants kids or not. And so that was something it seems like they're talking about everything but that. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I could see that being an issue if he wants kids at this time. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said Logan and Teresa?
Vanessa and Logan.
Vanessa, sorry. Lord.
Vanessa and Logan. So this scene, I think they're in the pool. They talk about the long distance aspect and if it could work. She says that she feels like it could as long as there's trust there. Um, she brings up what will his friends think. Once again, hyper aware of what everyone else is going to think or feel.
Yeah.
He says that he doesn't care, and she keeps pressing, and she laughs about it. But I think she was being serious, like, "Oh, well, we could just lie about my age, or should I get more Botox or lip fillers so that I look younger?" Girl,
Sorry. I'm here to say if the goal is to look younger, leave those lip fillers alone. Let me tell you. Don't don't do it. I seldom see
listen.
that turn out great.
And she
I
asked him,
think
like, do you like the lip fillers? And he's just looking at her like,
yeah.
no.
They need to improve the technology on that or something because they just don't be it just does not look good, especially on TV. Yeah.
I could see Logan being worn down already
Yeah.
about like how sensitive she is to this whole
Mhm.
thing.
Yes.
Um, Vanessa then ends up linking up with Teresa over some drinks. Teresa shares that her and John have been intimate. Vanessa says she wants to get more physical, but she feels like he's not interested or he's holding back. At this point, do you think is that he's not into her?
Oh yeah. I I
Mm,
don't understand why he continued the process after the whole, oh, she's been engaged 4 times. Maybe he just wants to be on TV, wanted to see it through. I don't
something to
know.
do.
But he had a clear break.
Yeah, I don't think it's that he's not physically attracted to her. I just don't think he
Is
likes
emotional.
her.
Yeah.
Like who
And
she
she's
is as
pretty. But
yeah, like she's pretty, she has a nice body. I don't think it's a physical thing. I think it's everything else.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So after the girl talk, Teresa says, I would just go for it if I were you. Because Vanessa feels like she's in the friend zone, feels like they're just roommates. So she says, I think you should just go for it. She
Hmm.
comes to him and has a conversation with him. She says, I don't want you to be upset. I don't want you to feel attacked, but I do want to talk to you. And she tells him that things aren't moving as quickly as she thought they would, that she thought by now they would have gone to that base. And he said, well,
Hmm.
I'm not going to love bomb you. I don't feel like a relationship should start off all hot and passionate, whereas she feels like it's the beginning. So why aren't you into me?
Hmm.
And so he presents it as if he likes a slow burn, and that's cool, but this isn't necessarily a slow burn process. So maybe think about that
I
next
could
time.
see both sides because I think there's a way he
Yeah,
could show more interest
for
and less
sure.
annoyance with her than what he's doing. On the
Mhm.
flip side, y'all were in speed dating. Y'all have only been in the apartment for 1 day.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like, okay, girl,
Calm down.
you don't know this man. So I don't know. The people who do want to take it slow, you don't want people to be rushed into being physical before they want to. But at the same
Mhm.
time, I don't know that he's being honest with her. And I think she can feel it.
Oh
So,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. She can feel it. Okay. To other people, so we have Leah and Chris. This episode, the only thing I have for them is that Leah comes at him about not disclosing what had happened with Vanessa.
mhm.
And I think rightfully so. I think she was just very stern with him. She held him accountable.
Mhm.
And to his credit, he apologized and he admitted that he had handled it incorrectly.
Yes. Then they get physical. I don't see much else beyond it with these two. I just think
Yeah.
they both like what they see, and that's it.
Leah, have a good time and leave Chris to Miami.
Yes.
Uh,
Yep.
all right, and then with Libby and Andrew, nothing much happened this episode. They went on a beach. He talks he talks about how he was a soccer player and then he got hurt and it ended his career. I said one thing Netflix is gonna do is bring us a soccer player. Because
Yeah.
Kwame was a soccer player. You didn't watch this season, but season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, obviously, and now
Mm-hmm.
Andrew has a similar story where, he felt it was so disappointing when he couldn't go pro for soccer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he says he feels more connected to her, and I mean, I guess.
I think she did have some nice words for him about his soccer thing, and he was so concerned that his dad was disappointed in him.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Well, you have daughters. Your daughters aren't gonna do necessarily what you want them to do, and you just
Mm-hmm.
have to live with it. But everybody has to do what's best for them in the moment." So I'm sure that made him feel like, oh, she has a serious side. All right, let's get into episode 5. Let's start off with Libby and Andrew since we can get them out of the way. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
So this episode, he asked her how she feels about, like, if
Commitment.
he can't hang out with her.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's like, oh, like what if you want to hang out with me, but I need to go and be with my daughters, or I need to take my daughter somewhere. And I don't know him asking this. I don't know if he's trying to prepare her for his absence or what it is, but it felt a little bit to me like, oh, be careful how you answer this because you also wouldn't want someone who neglects spending time with you, especially if you're going to move from wherever you are to Baltimore.
yeah. Like he's pre-adjusting her
Yeah,
expectations,
yeah, yeah.
which on the one hand, it could be to sober her up to the reality of merging into a family with two teenage children.
Hmm.
On the flip side, if y- yes, that's his situation, but if you choose to have a girlfriend, fiance, new wife, whatever, then that means you're preparing to stretch yourself even more thin. So
You
don't,
gotta have the capacity for it. Yeah.
yeah, you got to have the capacity for it. Yeah.
Okay, that was all I had on them.
Yeah, and
Um,
she says that she basically said, "Yeah, that's fine with me as long as you can respect when I want to hang out with my friends." I mean, she is 22.
yeah.
So, you know.
And there is another woman on the cast who I think needs to learn from that, and that is Leah. But
Yeah.
yeah. So Leah in this episode, she's paired with Chris.
Hmm.
They talked about how Chris lives in Miami, and she's trying to figure out if he would move to LA for her.
Yeah, they share about it sounds as though he had a caregiving situation for his dad who was sick a couple years ago. He
Yep.
says that his dad is better. And
Hmm.
so she was wondering, like, okay, how does your family manage when you're away, especially in this process, or if you were to move? He says that I would feel a lot better about being away now than I did before, but there's still a lot of responsibilities in terms of, I guess, the family business and other things that are on his plate.
Yeah.
She's wondering, is there a possibility he could move to LA? Girl,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's
I don't want to call her needy, but I think she's just wanting too much from this situation. I think she's wanting more than this situation can provide to her, but she's not able to see it right now.
I could appreciate him being honest. Like, I don't think he would be at 27, he's probably thinking, like, oh, yeah, I'd be willing to move somewhere, but
Hmm.
it wouldn't be my number one option given the responsibilities
Across
on
the
my
country.
plate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're not asking to move to Atlanta or even halfway through the country. You're asking him to move from one end to the
Hmm.
complete opposite end.
Yeah.
And yeah, with family dynamics, I just don't even know that that's realistic. And then she says something about, oh, well, my family and nieces and nephews are in California. So it's like, well, you want to be comfortable with your family where you are. Realistically, are you going to ask this 27-year-old man to uproot his life away from all of his family to be up underneath your
Even
family, you
yours.
wouldn't do it.
Date somebody in California, but I understand it might be hard, to find somebody. So I don't want to be dismissive, but I just think it's too high of an expectation to have. Also, they come back from this brunch, they have a good time, and he wants to take a nap, which is my energy. That's my vibe.
Decompress.
Yeah. And she's like, "What? We just had a great brunch and you want to take a nap? Like, let's hang out. Girl, you better get you some business. If you want to continue hanging out, go hang out." But I get it. The whole point of this is to spend time with him, get to know him better, do fun things with him. And I know she's been missing her person for a while, so she wants that with him, but there just has to be a balance.
When he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go take a shower," she even felt slighted with that. Girl,
Yeah.
I, I don't know. I get wanting to spend time with your person, but I don't get it because that's the opposite of me. If I've been out and being social, I want to be in my room by myself for at
Yep.
least the next 4 to 5 hours.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Exactly. Exactly. All
mm,
right. So then we have John and Teresa. I guess we could just get that out of the way. They have the conversation about kids. He says, "I don't want kids." He said, "That's my answer today. It'll probably be my answer 10 years from now. Can I guarantee that? No, but he said, I'm
confident.
pretty confident in that." And she said, "Oh, what's funny is that if I had met you outside of here, I would have been trying to hook you up with my daughter." Okay, well, girl, you didn't meet him outside of here. What do you want him to do with that?
Something she said, she was like, "Oh, well, that ship has sailed for me, but adoption or surrogacy, are at almost 60, are you really signing up to start over?" I don't believe any of these older people when they say things like this. If she was in her 40s, I believe it.
Yeah,
At almost 60, no,
it's a
I'm
lot.
not believing it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Grandparents don't even want to be like taking care of their grandkids like that, and rightfully so. I get it. So yeah.
Oh,
Um, okay. Now let's get to the big thing that happened this episode, which was Vanel and Jorge.
do you want to talk about Derek and
Vanessa.
Pfeiffer really quick? Because
What was there to
nothing
talk
happened.
about with Derek and Pfeiffer?
She just asked him, so we'll do it real quick. She asked him about what would be the process to be introduced to his kids. And he was like, basically, you need to meet their mom first, and then we'll go from there. They also talk about her moving to Dallas because he's not able to move. This
Mm-hmm.
goes back to the very beginning where I said this process, I don't know how successful or realistic it is. None of these people live in the same city. And it's
Mm-hmm.
one person who has to be hunkered in one place,
Yeah,
and then the other person who would almost have to move in order for it to work. So that was
that's
all I
true.
had on them.
Yeah, yeah. I do think that's one area that Love is Blind ate with was making
Hmm.
sure people are in the same place and Married at First Sight, which yeah. So yeah, that does complicate things. Maybe if they did this city by city, it would be better as
Hmm.
opposed to the whole country. But again, I've already decided I don't want another season, so there's no correcting
That's what
it.
she says, and then we're on season three.
If I do it, it's because Miosha forced me.
Oh,
Kidding. No, I'll be down if you want to do it. But
yeah,
okay,
we'll see.
Actually, I think also Vanessa and Logan had something about him feeling like she is I want to get these people out of the way because Vanessa and Jorge I feel like we'll talk about for some time. So
Hmm.
Vanessa and Logan have a conversation where she's like, I'm feeling like we're roommates. I want to have more fun. She said I want 4th of July fireworks and it's giving Memorial Day fireworks. I said, wow. I think, yeah, she probably just wants more of a fun person, and he's just not that vibe with
She
her.
all but admits that she thought that this would be a mixture of a fling with the potential of something long term. So what was saying was true about what she was looking for.
Yeah.
Her expectation, I'm with this younger guy. It should be like fireworks, no breaks, and we're moving like turtles over here.
And I want to know why. Okay, why engaged 4 times but never married? Like what patterns exist there, right? That we also need to pay attention to. Is she looking for the guy who is usually a fling type, which is why she says she stepped away from Chris? She was doing the same thing over. So is she looking for is she engaging with guys who are more of a fling and then expecting something permanent? And then when they ask her to marry them, she realizes, no, this isn't what I want for her. Like, what? I need more answers from her. I think sometimes we think, oh, because, someone's a certain age, maybe they have it all together. But what if
Mhm.
she doesn't? And what if he's right? I still don't think he's completely into her, but still, like,
I think we get more insight onto why he's not being as forward with her. She
mm-hmm,
says in that sit down, she feels like she's on eggshells, and but she doesn't want to mother him. He's like, yeah, well, there's been several times where you keep telling me what to do, you keep repeating yourself, her tone. He asked her, do you even see me as equal? Do you like me or just the idea of me? He
mm-hmm,
says that it feels like she wants him on board with whatever her plan is.
yeah, yeah,
And I can't say if that's fully true, but I think in his mind, if that's what he's receiving from her, I
yeah,
don't know that that's going to make him be in like this hot and heavy move with someone who's coming at him with that type of energy.
yeah.
But he's just speaking up about it. So
Mm-hmm.
how would she know?
Yeah, he did put his foot down, say, "Listen, you're gonna treat me as equal. You can't just dominate me." I thought he respectfully did it, not in
Mhm.
a Jorge way. Uh, yeah. Okay.
Then
What?
we get to their intimacy scene, which we did not need to hear. Like,
So
what is
now
going
we
on? What
yeah.
is going on at Netflix?
See, and this is one of the reasons I don't watch like Perfect Match and those types of shows because I feel like they're doing too much. You know.
Yeah, I agree. So they're intimate, and she's coaching him through it and giving her critiques, none of which we needed to hear. And he's just like, yeah, I know it'll be better next time. And
How embarrassing. I absolutely hated this moment. Yeah, so definitely y'all can cut that stuff out. All
yeah,
right.
okay.
Vanel and Jorge.
Okay. It's 5 in the morning.
So it's like 3 a.m. and we overhear that I guess he's saying he doesn't think he can wait to be intimate. And she
Hmm.
said, well, then why are we here then? Why am I here then? And she said, I'm not budging. I'm not budging. And I asked you if you were, she asked me if he was waiting for her to just waver.
Hmm.
Uh, but then he comes back, which with some important points. Some important points if this weren't Jorge. I'll say that. And I'll tell you why. But
Hmm.
he says, listen, whatever we just did, that's crossing certain boundaries. Like if you're
Hmm.
going to be celibate, I guess he's like, you have to be celibate completely. And you're crossing the lines, and that's confusing for me.
He specifically asked her, well, what did we just do? And she's like, well,
We're orally,
it was oral.
orally intimate.
Vanel.
I
Vanel.
think that's a fair point. And I think the thing, okay, you are stepping up and saying that you don't want to do this particular thing, and that's going to require discipline from him. I think you also, maybe what she wasn't expecting was that, well, you're going to have to step up your discipline too. Like you can't just
Hmm.
be, you know? And I think, I don't know that Jorge is genuine enough that he's like, oh, hey, going forward, I'm okay with your celibacy journey. You just can't be doing these things. I don't know that that's the perspective he's taking. I think
Okay.
he's more of like, well, you need to come over to the other side. If you're going to be going halfway, go ahead and come all the way
Mhm.
over. And so that's where I'm like, his points are completely valid. I just think he would prefer that she completely swaps as opposed to, I respect what you're doing, keep doing it, and this is how I can help you. This is how you can help me to make sure that you stay on your path that you want to stay on. Like I don't think he's approaching it from the place of, I want to be a I want to be a partner to you who helps you on this path. I think he's telling her, you're either going to have to completely swap or stop, like
Yeah.
one or the other.
It
Yeah.
also sounds as though he's trying to define exactly what that path
Mhm.
is. And I think maybe this is where the age thing comes in. Like he was saying, like, oh, celibacy means this to me. it may mean something different to her. They never outlined exactly what it
Mhm.
would be. And I think in his mind, if we're headed in the direction of celibacy, there are boundaries that are in place. I can respect it and not cross it, but don't try to bring me halfway across the line and then you get to dictate where the line is. But you're right in that, of course, he would always want her to come all the way
Yeah,
over
yeah, yeah.
to his
Yeah.
side. He what did he say? You know, you just should have been clear.
You
Ah,
know.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, no, I think this is a good lesson for Vanel, right? Because obviously Jorge isn't her person, but yeah, if you want, it's a tough thing. I empathize with her. You know, she's trying to honor her religion and all that stuff. But it's a lesson to her that you can't just, if you're gonna commit, some people are gonna require you to commit, and you can't just keep testing the waters. Like when you've wavered before, that that might have been an issue. Like, you know, it's gonna be difficult not only for the other person, but even for you.
He he even seemed like in their scenes where they're on their dates or they're walking around, she's very lovey-dovey,
She's
kissy,
at the
very
gym,
like
outside.
all over him. And I think in his mind, I don't know if he ever said it, but he's probably thinking, well, if you're on the celibacy, journey, then
It's
there
a
would
lot.
be more clear physical boundaries so that there isn't as much temptation. So I think he's always open to it. He's just like, well, if it's a go, it's a go. Let me know it's a go.
Yeah.
But then she pulls back because he even said, like, you're all on top of me, simulating certain things. Like, this whole thing is confusing. And she's like, well, none of it's confusing to me. I know exactly what the rules are, but I just don't think it works that way in
No.
reality once you're in a real situation.
Yeah. And it's so early on. I don't know when Jorge wants marriage or if he even does, but like, I don't know. It just feels like so early on you're really setting yourself up. And I don't know if there's like a feeling of like loneliness, or like she said, she just never felt this way about somebody. But she just has to, she's gonna, if that's the path that she wants, it might require her tightening up even more.
Oh yeah, I think you're onto something where she knew the ask of him would be big, but
She
she didn't realize that
did.
the ask of her would also be big. And if
Yeah.
she's been single and to herself, have you really been testing the waters? Like you've been off in your own little corner by yourself, but now
Yeah.
you're in a relationship. This is the ultimate test. And I think for him, he's like, well, you fell in the test based off what we just did.
And you designed the test, and you're failing, so I hate to say it, but I think his points were valid, and she's
Yeah.
gonna have to tighten
So
that up.
that's huge issue already.
Number
Go ahead.
one. Yep.
Yeah, number one.
Hmm.
Then I guess they're out on the streets of Vancouver on a date. I thought Vancouver they say was safe, but I don't know. I've never been there.
I Child.
They have a run-in with a random man on the street who's threatening them, approaching them. He responds back in a certain way in which he felt he needed to handle it, and she didn't. She says the way he handled it made her uncomfortable. He
Hmm.
says he just wanted to protect her and that where he's from, she wouldn't understand being the man in that situation. She was like, I wasn't trying to come against you. I was just so uncomfortable with the back and forth, I guess, that him and the man were doing.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I wanted to hear from Vanel what happened, because
Right.
it seems like she didn't think it warranted how far Jorge took it. And I can understand, like, you remember Calabria and Edmund when she was like, oh, well, what if a man comes up to me and he's like, I would
Walk
respectfully
away,
move
yeah.
us away. Like, maybe that's how she felt it should have been handled. So I wanted to hear from her what exactly happened and how she felt like he should have responded. I understand his perspective of if he felt like this person was coming up on
Because he
them
said the person had something in his
in
hand.
his hand. And so
Yeah,
I'm like, wait, what happened? Like, it sounds like maybe he needed to be a little rough, like, back
back up.
up.
Yeah.
So between the two of them, I don't know. but it sounds like they responded in the ways that their personalities match the responses that they were giving.
And when he had his confessional scenes and he was saying, like, based off my life experience and where I'm from, like, you do
Hmm.
not play around in situations like that. And we've had different experiences. So I don't expect for her to fully understand, but
Hmm.
just know, like, if we're in that situation, my first instinct is to protect her and myself.
Yeah.
So I think for him, he's like, whether you agree with how I handled it or not, know it was all coming from a good place of
Yeah.
protection. And I think she was caught up in maybe the uncomfortableness of it, where
Hmm.
maybe she just couldn't see that he was just trying to act in her best interest.
Yeah.
Something like this doesn't, I guess it depends on how left it went,
Hmm.
but I think if you're in a relationship with a person and y'all both have different triggers, different experiences, I think it's something you talk through and be like, hey, my expectation is X.
Hmm.
Also, at the same time, when you're in a real time situation,
Yeah.
people won't always react perfectly.
Oh, for
And
sure.
so, like, your adrenaline starts going. I don't know. I don't know if it's a reason to break up, but they already had that.
Mm,
They already
that
got
on
that
its
ugly.
own, yeah, I can see
Yeah.
what you mean.
Like if he's the initiator of conflict out in public, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, yeah,
If you're in a fight or flight, even for myself, I'm like, I don't know that I can guarantee I would handle everything perfectly
yeah. Hmm.
when you're in it. So I think is this routine behavior? I don't know.
I will say, yeah, I think he's a man of a certain age. He's seen a lot.
That.
He reacted how he felt like he needed to react in that moment. And him saying to her, "Girl, you don't know. You ain't never been to that." So, yeah, I think him trusting his instincts is what he needed to do. What I would have hoped for would have been some more understanding in the conversation after, like,
Mhm.
if she's saying she's uncomfortable with something, okay, what exactly made you uncomfortable about it? And then saying, listen, I just want you to be protected. And I've seen maybe even give an example. I don't know. Like, and I
Mhm.
remember this happened, and before I could react, it went left. And so I just want to make sure that doesn't happen to you, that you're safe, that I'm safe, and
Mhm.
that nobody's talking to you any type of way or us any type of way. But the way he approached it was, well, you should have had my back. I acted how I needed to have, like you should have had my back. It's like, I don't have to agree with everything you do.
Yeah, like he felt a way by being critiqued for
Mm-hmm.
stepping up. But she ends up getting frustrated in the conversation. She storms off.
Yeah.
Um, she says that she's torn about staying or leaving. He says he would respect her decision either way. And she's like, well, why is this all on me? He says, well, this isn't a deal breaker for me. Um, it seems like she doesn't want to be the one to make the call, even though she knows.
It sounds like he doesn't either, though. That's what is
Because he
frustrating
would
me
be
about
fine moving forward, being the dominant person and handling things the way he wants to handle it. So he'd be perfectly fine moving forward with her. I think it's on her if she would be want to be in that dynamic of a relationship. Like he
Yeah.
folded on the kids thing, the whole celibacy thing. Like for him, he's just moving forward. Well, she'll get in line.
Yeah, I think both of them could walk away at this point.
They
Yes,
should.
I absolutely see, that she would want to say, like, she wants to move forward too, just like he wants to move forward. But yes, somebody has to call it quits. But I can kind of
Yeah.
see why she was like, wait, why is this all on me? Like, you seem to have issues with what's going on too. Why is it, oh, well, we'll do whatever you want to do? Like, you don't want me to have control in certain situations, but now all of a
Mhm.
sudden, well, it's what you want to do in this case. Like, wait, what's going on here? So,
Mhm.
anyway, if I were her, though, I would take the agency and just nip this in the bud,
Well, she
which
does.
she ends
She
up
comes
having to
back.
do in the end. Yeah.
Messing around with him, he would have took her through it the rest of the season.
Take me through that. Take me through
Yeah, he
that.
would have been taking her through there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So they come back and she's like, well, I need to know what's up with us. Um, and so do you feel like we're a good match? He's like, I don't know what that means. She said, do you feel like we're a good match, or there's just no point in being here? And so she said, you should have told me you weren't down with the celibacy thing when I told you, because I wouldn't have come here. And he said her telling him that she's celibate wasn't enough for him to stop pursuing things. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. And then he came back with the, well, you ain't celibate for real, no way. And that's
I
not
mean,
she's trying. I don't want to make light of it. Like,
I
it's a
mean,
cartoon.
to be honest, she brings up the celibacy conversation, lets him know in mid conversation, I folded on this before.
Yeah.
They merge their lives in this apartment. She can't keep her hands off of him. He's like, whoa there, whoa there. She's going halfway, but not all the way. On this particular thing, even though I think his intentions were always probably to wear her down, he's valid.
I hate to say it. But where she did have a point too was, I told you about this. You should have been clearer about what you were willing to do and what you were not willing to do. And so these two bad news bears, bad
Yep.
news bears. Okay. And so she finally makes the decision. Oh, he says, you want to control this and that, and I'm not a dude you can control like that. We know, Unc. We know. We've known since you got off that plane, episode 1.
And that's why he wanted someone who would be his peace, easygoing. And I think if left up to him, he would have just tried to wear her down to see if she could fit the mold of what would work in his life.
Yeah, she said that she feels like he's always talking at her and not with her.
I mean, girl, he's 60. You're 27.
He talking to
People
you like
talk.
he was talking to
I probably talk at people who are 10 years younger than me. Not in a rude way, but like,
you don't know what you're talking about. Let me just let you know.
like if I'm 30 talking to a 20-year-old, like, you're a baby in my head. Little baby bear, still trying to figure out life. And when I was 20 and I was speaking to someone who was older, they probably were talking at me. That's life. I don't know.
That's life. No, wait, her heart was really broken. And she was like, I know that I won't find this again. I said, oh boy, girl. What do the old people say? Keep on living. Keep on living, because you're gonna find better than that, and you're gonna find it again and again. You're gonna find better than that, and then you're gonna say, no, I deserve even more, and find that, and find more than that. Like, it's, girl, trust
She'll
me.
be fine. She's beautiful and seems like she has a lot going for herself. And I think this ended the way quick. I'm happy, and in
Could
the
you
short
imagine
term,
another few episodes of them?
y'all can't even go on a walk in the streets of Vancouver without coming back arguing. That's insane.
All right, so yeah, those are our thoughts on.
Oh wait, let's quickly, one thing about the mixer. One thing about the mixer.
Yes. Okay. So yeah.
So we get to the mixer. All the remaining couples are coming together. They realize that Vanel and Jorge are missing. When they were talking about Vanel and Jorge missing, no, I'm sorry. When they were talking about, I think it was Leah and Chris were talking about some issues that they were having. Did you notice how they kept cutting to Feifer in the faces she was making?
Oh, I did not notice that.
I wrote it down. It was noticeable enough. And I said, I wonder if Feifer and Chris were talking at some point, or if Derek and Leah were talking at a certain point, because they're similar age mates.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something that Feifer feels about those two, and I don't know why.
I didn't even notice. No, I did not.
And then the host lets them know that their family and friends will be showing up tomorrow. Once again, the older women, Vanessa and Teresa, are very emotional and triggered by everyone else finding out. And
well, Teresa's triggered by her kids finding out.
yeah.
And Vanessa is triggered that Logan said, "Oh, this is going to be scary."
Which wasn't to me even anything to feel a way about.
Mm-mm.
That's how he should respond. You
But when
should
you're
be shook.
self-conscious, like, yeah, it takes you there. And Teresa has a meltdown, complete
Yeah, she does.
meltdown, because she doesn't want to disappoint her kids. Logan, he's like, later on they have a conversation. He says, "Well, I don't know if you're the one, and I don't really bring people around my family." Okay, Logan, you should have thought about that before you came on this show, bud. Unless y'all didn't know all the rules, but come
They
on.
tried to sit there and act surprised.
Yeah.
I do think this is all moving relatively fast.
Hmm.
And I think people still have in their minds like dating in the real world. Oh, you may meet someone, talk for a few months, date for a
Yeah.
few months, then they meet your family. So what he was saying was real, but you
Very.
decided to come on here.
Hmm.
So you should have done the mental adjusting of like, oh, this
Yeah.
is a different process. But I still think Vanessa overreacted.
Period.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I will say, Libby and
Andrew.
Andrew, thank you.
Mhm.
I don't know that I have like, I, I s- I don't know that I'm like, oh, this is so inappropriate. Again, she's an adult, he's an adult, and he's a younger adult. I did feel a little bit different about the Vanel and Jorge situation.
Mhm.
I think Teresa has valid concerns with her thing that's going on with John, even though they seem locked in and pretty good for each other. I think her
Mhm.
concerns are valid. I'm a little torn between let grown people do what grown people want to do, and okay, at a certain point, it becomes a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to get caught up in the today, but I think the family will bring some sobering questions like, what does this look like in 20 years where the gap is more apparent and all the obvious things like John saying you don't want kids at 27. I'm not saying it's not fully believable, but you have a lot of childbearing years ahead of you.
Yeah.
So you could change your mind and what does that look like?
And she might not always be able to go to the gym with you or go as hard as she's going now and do all the things that you would want to do. So just a lot to consider. But again, if that's what he wants, that's what he wants. And so yeah,
Yep.
y'all let us know your thoughts in the comments, please. We want to see what other people think
Mhm.
about this show and about the specific people who were chosen to participate. But yeah,
Yep.
until next time, bye.
Bye.